this video, we're going to practice using the concepts of triads that we've just learned. First of all, we're going to talk about finding the root of a triad. So suppose that a triad is written like that. Now, suppose that you know it's a triad, and it's not a non-triad. So for example, and let me just, probably should have come earlier, but let me just quickly mention something like that cannot be written. This can be rearranged. This just, we pop it up an octave, and we see root, third, fifth. Everything's happy. There's no way to mess around with octaves to get root, third, and fifth. That's no kind of triad whatsoever. Similarly, every once in a while, you might encounter something like that. Oh, root, third, and fifth. Minor third, augmented fifth. We don't have any kind of quality. We're not going to call that a triad either. Now, in more advanced theory, you will come across triads other than our standard types, and they don't have particular names. For our purposes now, for the worksheets that you may encounter, you should call that not a triad because it's not one of our standard qualities. My preferred solution came from one of my students who I thought very ingeniously said, well, if this weird one is called the augmented triad, if we've got something even weirder, let's call it a demented triad. So I like to call that a demented triad, if it can be root, third, or fifth, but it doesn't correspond to any of our normal categories of qualities. So if we know that something's a triad, and we're trying to figure out what kind of a triad it is, where's the root? What you want to do is look for the interval that defines the boundary between the kind of the inside and the outside. What do I mean by that? If we write a triad in root position, let's look at the intervals we've got. We've got a third, we've got a fifth, we've got another third. Now, if that's inverted, the thirds will turn to sixths, the fifths will turn to fourths. Looking for thirds and sixths, trying to figure out where the root of a triad is not very useful. Why not? Because there are two of them. So if you just find a third, you don't know which third you've found. What you want to go for is the unique interval, which also defines the boundary between the inside and the outside of the triad. So if you see something like this, train your eye to go for the fifth. Or if you see something like, train your eye, in this case, to go for the fourth. If your eye can spot out and pick out the fourth and the fifth, then you'll immediately be able to say, oh, okay, if it's the fifth, it's the bottom of the fifth. If it's the fourth, it's the top of the fourth, okay? So you can go, that is the root is, not where we are in the baseball game. You can go straight to the root of the chord visually in this way. Another helpful, and then the other thing that this will allow you to do is find the figured base. So if the C is the root, then you know that's the third. If I write it out in full, it's that way. Let me just do another one about something like this. Okay, I look at that, I scan that quickly. Ah, there's a fourth, there's a fifth. Look at the bottom of the fifth, that F is my root. The A flat is the third. It's the fifth that's in the bottom, so this is because the lowest note is the fifth. This is a second inversion triad, so I would say, for example, I might answer this F minor 6, 4 as a way of describing what that is. And as a quick way to just glance at that and boom, go find the root, and from the root you can find the inversion and therefore the figured base. Other helpful things about triads. So one of the things that you'll want to do is very quickly be able to give Roman numerals to triads in any key. Or conversely, given a Roman numeral in any key, spell the triad. So D flat major, 4 chord, boom, G flat, B flat, D flat. You want to be able to do that really quickly. Now, how can you learn to do that? There's something that's going to help that out. And that is that what do different keys do? All they do is add accidentals. So this business of root, third, fifth, you've got the same collections of letter names as the 7 triads in every key. So you're always dealing with some accidentals added possibly, but you're dealing with C, E, G, Yeah, right. D, F, A, E, G, B, F, A, C, G, B, D, A, C, E, B, D, F. So just go through that like a mantra. Learn that, be able to go through that quickly. C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B, F, A, C, G, B, D, A, C, E, B, D, F. Boom. So that any triad you're dealing with, then once you know what the notes are in the key, you can throw whatever whatever accidentals are needed for that. D major, D, F sharp, A is a one chord, whatever you want. But if you've got those collections of letter names, it's just things that go together, chunks that go together, that get modified, that lets you spell any triad. The other thing that's helpful, neat exercise I saw once, is to go through tonic triads in the circle of fifths, ascending. So go as flat as you can and then work your way up. So for example, if I start with C, so what's the farthest key to the flat end? C flat, E flat, G flat. Okay? Now then that G flat, that fifth, leads me off at the next key as I ascend through this circle of fifths. So you can just go through this. C flat, E flat, G flat, G flat, B flat, D flat, D flat, F, A flat, C, E flat, C, B flat, D, F, A, C, C, E, G, etc. Just go through that and try and get to the point where you can just go as quickly as you can. So something like C flat, E flat, G flat, B flat, D flat, F, A C, E flat, G, B flat, D, F, A, C, C, E, G, B, D, F sharp, A, C sharp, E, G sharp, B, D sharp, F sharp, A flat, A sharp, C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, of course. So try and be able to go through that quickly. That's going to be really handy for you. Why? For one thing, to be able to get tonic triads anywhere, but also remember those three chords in the three-chord songs. When we start writing music, those are going to be the first three chords that we learn. So if you've already learned to string together, say, E flat, G, B flat, D, F, A, C, well, guess what? If you happen to be in the key of B flat major, that middle one was your tonic triad. The one you started with, E flat, G, B flat, that's your four chord. Then B flat, D, F, that's your one chord. F, A, C, that's your five chord. You've immediately spelled and learned to associate together the four primary triads in the key you're working in. Really handy thing to be able to do. And that's it for this one.